gonna party. Oh, gonna party. Gonna party. No, I forgot I'm actually streaming right now. They're probably trying to figure out what's going on with Miss Tiffany out there. She's like, she's gone crazy. She's gone crazy. All right.
You are listening to Breakfast with Tiffany with your host, Tyffanie Morgan.
That's right, SweetPeas. It's me. It's me. Bam. Bam. Well, hello there, my little SweetPeas and my little love muffins from all around the big blue world. This is your hostess, Miss Tiffany Morgan, calling to you live from Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of Limestone and the home to me, Miss Tiffany Morgan. That's right. That's right. All right. Well, I have no guests today for us. I'm sorry about that. And if you just heard a little bleep bleep there, I'm sorry about that too. Let's turn that off. We don't need to be getting any spam emails coming in through us, do we? We don't need any spam. Spam, spam, go away. Spam, spam. Spam, 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 spam. Spam, spam. All right. My chat thing here seems to be broken. But because I do film this live, I do broadcast this live on my social medias. So if you'd like to listen to this live while I'm doing this, you can add me on Facebook, or you can listen to T-Show's out there. And what is the Facebook address for that? I can never remember. It's like, is it t.show.ygk? There we go. That's facebook.com/t.show.ygk. And yeah, you can listen to this live. So my name is Miss Tiffany Morgan, drag queen extraordinaire here in Kingston. And like I said earlier, I don't have any guests with me right now. It's been one of those kind of crazy sort of weeks. It's been a little bit of a crazy week. So it was my birthday on Monday. Happy birthday to me. you know. So obviously there was those little things. This morning I had absolutely no internet for hours. So, and apparently quite a few other service providers were out for hours and hours on end too. And also we had our Kingston Pride annual general meeting last night. This week, and that went on for I think about 3 hours, and it would be all virtual. Anyway, let's go through that individually, shall we? Let's just all go through that individually. But yeah, it was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I accept tips. And I ended up doing a live Facebook and Twitch and YouTube video, a kind of like just drag show in my living room with my social circle. A few of my social circle were here in my living room, and I broadcast that online. And just for something to do, because what do you do? What do you do for birthdays and other kind of celebrations during a pandemic, right? Because you can't have 200 of your closest friends come by. I will say I'm very glad, very blessed that my 40th birthday was last year. And I definitely had a soiree that I have forgotten it because I don't remember much about it. But you get the idea. I'm going to live off the fumes of that praise for a while now. But Yeah, how do you celebrate during a pandemic when it's only supposed to be your social circle and that's less than 10 people inside your house and stuff like that? If this was someone's 40th birthday, because those milestones, those 10-year milestones, or your 30th or your 20th or something, how are you supposed to enjoy yourself? How are you supposed to enjoy yourself when we are in lockdown? Well, not it's not lock. Sometimes it feels like we're still in lockdown. It sometimes feels that way. So how do you celebrate? And the challenge, I took that challenge and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to broadcast me having some fun on the camera. So I did some traditional drag kind of performances. I did some drag tunes, lip syncing to music and stuff like that. And people were typing in, they were commenting, and we were doing shots. uh, oh, and someone just chatted here. I think you should do some sourpuss shooters right now. And no, no, I was doing, I was doing some shots on the camera, and that was a little too much. It was a little too much. Things started getting spinny, and it just, yeah, it wasn't that good. So, you know, obviously, I couldn't have, let's say, like 200 of my closest friends come by for, whatever. But I think we had a good time. I think it was a good time altogether for that. And it is a bit of a challenge. So I remember in the early part of COVID, a lot of people were doing drive-bys. Drive-bys. Do people still do the drive-bys? So you sit on your front porch, and this is especially true for if you're out in the burbs or out in the country. I was like, what is the word for that? The country. If you're out there and people will kind of tour by in their cars and wave at you, say happy birthday and all that kind of stuff. So do they still do that? Because that was really kind of fun too. People were finding very creative ways on how to celebrate during a lockdown. And I think the way that I did it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I have all the stuff sitting here in my living room. Cameras, audio, as you can hear, backdrops, and everything like that. And I ended up having some friends come by, and everyone who was chatting as well. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much if you participated in my birthday. Thank you very much. And if you didn't participate, participate again in the future. I plan on having many more. Many, many more. Someone else commented they loved the good girl's dress. Yes, I was wearing a brand new dress for that evening there as well. So, yeah, I love that. All right. Well, oh, what's going on here? Oh, people are asking me questions about the upcoming drag show that I'm hosting on October 31st. But we'll talk about that later, shall we? Speaking of which, let's get that queued up then. All right. So happy birthday to me. Yay! If you were one of the people who were affected with no internet as well, that was a bit of a challenge. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So I work from home, as many people I think do, or privileged to do, I should say. Some people do still have to go into storefronts and offices and stuff like that. So I'm kind of blessed that way. And but a lot of people are working from home or have their own small businesses or however, and the internet is key to getting the job done. Getting the job done. And when you're down for hours on end, like the whole morning was unproductive. I tried tethering my phone, which is my own personal internet and stuff like that, but let me tell you, was when lockdown happened, I changed my plan on my phone. I changed that plan down to the most minuscule amount because, hey, I'm on the Wi Fi at my house. So it's not like I'm walking around all over the place needing internet wirelessly outside of my home. But so I was able to do that and at least get the some few little business things done, like sending the email to the manager. I'd be like, I have no internet. I have no internet. Uh, and then it was just kind of like trying to figure out things to do, and how I was trying to find out if the internet was still available or still unavailable at that time is I was asking. Hopefully she doesn't hear me, but I was asking Alexa um, if the internet was back, and of course she would always tell me, she's like, I can't help you, or I don't understand at this time. I don't understand at this time. After a while, I started thinking that she was telling me like, I don't understand what you're asking me, you couch potato. Like it started to seem like she was starting to get a little upset with me every time I was asking those questions. Oh my word! But yeah, like it's so interesting that how the economy and how work is changing for a lot of people, because a lot of people will go into the office, sit at a computer, at a cubicle, work away if that was your type of work. Call centers, like for instance, there locally. So I did work at StarTech many years ago, and that was going in every day into the office on Highway 15 and logging in and doing your phone calls and stuff like that. But that's changing. That's changing. A lot of call centers, and including StarTech, you'll be going home. You'll be working from home, logging in and doing those sort of things. So how does that change? Those sort of dynamics change. I remember the challenges for my coworkers when we it was a big rush for us to all go home in the lockdown, and people were trying to find places where they can put their laptops and stuff like that. Some people, it was in their kitchens on the breakfast nooks and stuff like that they had to set that up. I temporarily was just doing it from the dining room table. I have that luxury. I don't really actually dine at my dining room table. What can I say? So I had that set up temporarily, and things were good. But then you had to think about the longer terms. You had to think about the longer terms, and quite a few of my coworkers bought desks, proper desks. Some with proper chairs too, because quite often people were just using their dining room chairs and put a pillow up so that your legs um, are at the proper height for ergonomics. Ergonomics is very important when you're sitting for 8 hours a day, sort of thing. You got to think about that. And for me, that involved also just converting one of the spare bedrooms into the home office. And it's not like I'm going to be getting company by here. Company to stay over the night anytime soon. So the spare bedroom can afford it. it can afford the two monitors and the desk and the chair and the internet cables all over the place. It can afford that. It can afford it. What can I say? What can I say? But it is quite the challenge for a lot of people. It is quite the challenge for a lot of people, and when you lose those little connections, goodness sakes, it's just it can be stressful. It can be stressful. And speaking about stress, uh, so we had the Kingston Pride annual general meeting, which I am the secretary for the corporation. So most of that was obviously run by me. So setting up the Zoom, setting up the election system, setting up, making sure all the documents were available for all the members to view, like all those sort of things, and just crossing your fingers that things do not break down and things do not mess up. Of course, of course, of course, I had a lot of board members who were helping out, doing the chat moderations and stuff like that, and making sure to mute people who may have forgotten to mute their microphone. Um, we had like, I think it was like 40 people attend the Zoom meeting, and really, and to be honest, like talking about the changes and stuff like that. A lot of people have never used Zoom before the pandemic. Now, everyone really kind of understands it. I was very pleasantly surprised that people knew how to use the regular resources. They knew to when they were speaking to look at the camera. Some of them would turn the camera off and then turn it back on when they were speaking, muting and all that kind of stuff. It's really nice to see that, and that sort of kind of etiquette, and we're all just trying to get along here. Of course, there was some heated discussions, but with any organization that has such passion in its membership, the members are so passionate about it. They all want the best. They all want the best. Sometimes you have two people who have different ideas of how to best go about that, and that's where you sometimes get a lot of the debate. It was about 3 hours long. There was a lot of bylaw amendments on the table ahead of time, and but like I said, I think overall it was a long meeting, but I think it went well. I think it went well. It was fairly respectful, and thank you if you participated. If you didn't participate and you are a member in good standing, you can still cast your vote. You can cast your vote. So there are systems online which just boggles my mind that you can just pay like $20 and you can have an entire online election, electing board members, passing bylaw amendments, and it's just such an easy system, and you pay very little. So if you're part of a not-for-profit corporation, or from a corporation, or from a union, because I heard this through old union friends of mine about this system. It's a pretty good system. So if you are a member of Kingston, let me focus back in. If you're a member of Kingston Pride in good standing, you can still vote. Voting is available up until October 23rd at 11 p.m. And you would have gotten an invite in your emails, and that is through Election Buddy. So thank you, Election Buddy. Even though I did pay for you, but it's a great service. Oh, my word. Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, but I am tired today. I will say, I am very tired today. Mm. All right. Well, I think we need to see what's going on here in Kingston, i.e., out in .ca. So, oh, sorry. Let me get my audio going here. Bum 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 bum. All right. Outin.ca, your source for queer events going on here in Kingston and the surrounding area. So let's take a look-see. And see what's going on right now. Well, guess what? You're listening to Breakfast with Tyffanie here on CFRC 101.9 FM. Also on CFRC.ca. So thank you so much for listening to Breakfast with Tyffanie. The little whatever you want to call it. Where's my guests? I don't know where my guests are. So Gender Talk, that's on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. And I believe a friend of mine, Erin, hosts that. So hello, dear. Hello. So on Wednesdays we have Wednesdays with Rowena Way. Oh, that's a new thing. So she'll be doing on Wednesdays something at Spearhead Brewery. I think it's a bingo. Let me just double click on that. I think she's doing bingo at Spearhead. Oh, my internet's a little slow right now. All right. Well, anyway. Thursdays at 4 p.m. we have Queer Prom radio show. Yay, here on CFRC. And that kind of stemmed from from the pandemic. They wanted to do a queer prom. We wanted to do that for our programming, for our Kingston Pride programming. But because we were in lockdown, how do you do that? So they worked with CFRC to do like a radio request, and there was a Zoom thing, da da da. Anyway, out of that comes this program. So I believe that's every second week, but you can check cfrc.ca for all the upcoming programming for cfrc.ca. But yeah, that's Thursday at 4 p.m. We have Beers for Queers. That's pretty much every Saturday at Monty's in downtown Kingston. And obviously, the social distancing and all that kind of stuff are in place. So that's kind of just queer people just come by and drop in and stuff like that. And gender talks. Future upcoming shows. So Trick or Treat, a Halloween drag show. That's on Friday, October 30th at 7:30 p.m. So tickets are available online on Eventbrite. But I think you really need to come to this next show because that's actually a Halloween matinee drag show called Moon Magic Matinee. Doors open at 1. Show starts at 2. So tickets are online on Eventbrite for that. And that's on October 31st on the full moon Halloween. On the full moon of Halloween, a matinee drag show. You should come on down to that. Buy your tickets. Tables are on sale right now. I wonder who's hosting it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. And I need those sales. What can I say? All right. Well, that's, I'm going to check my chat here. And, yeah, there we go. Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum. All right. So that was the events coming up here in Kingston. So I really look forward to that. And again, Moon Magic Matinee. Buy your tickets. Eventbrite. You can find them on my Facebook and my socials there too. Sorry, it's my program. What can I say? I'm going to push that one a little bit more. And we spoke last week with Mimi Osa, who unfortunately will not be at the Moon Magic Matinee. She will be at the other program the night before on the 30th. But I hope to speak with other drag performers here in Kingston. I'm already speaking to Lilith Kane, and I have some ideas what to talk about with Lilith Kane that doesn't involve blood and gore. Because if anyone knows Lilith Kane, she's a bit of a punk rock, like horror kind of thing. Although her makeup techniques lately, she's been doing so a lot of the performers will sometimes just log in, do a Facebook Live sort of thing, and paint, as we call it, putting on makeup, because they're just feeling very creative. A lot of this outlet is about performance, but also sometimes it's about the aesthetic too, right? They just want to play around with makeup. They want to play around with an idea that they have for how they're going to present themselves. So they do it online live, and Lilith has done that, and she's looking pretty good. Some of them are really interesting stuff. So I would suggest for you to go check that out. But last week we had Mimi Osa. I've also had conversations with Miss Rowena Way, and who knows who else I'll be bringing onto this program. I look forward to it. These are all my friends too. That's one of the blessings of having a radio show, podcast, and stuff. I get to have my friends with me, and we get to have some great times. Just sitting there chatting away. All right. Except for today, because everything was falling through. What can I say? Everything was falling through. Speaking about falling through, oh my word, Tyffanie has no furnace yet. I have no functional furnace. It's getting cold out there. But let's talk about Halloween. So one of the reasons why I want to have a matinee is because I want to come home because my street is Halloween Street every year. This year, obviously, people are feeling a little. They're not necessarily getting into the Halloween mood for obvious reasons, but this is Halloween Street, and I still want to hand out candy for the kids. I am still going to hand out candy for the kids. Some of my neighbors are like, "Oh, that's not a good idea." Da, da, da. Well, I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing it. Um, uh, so far, it's all good. Public health hasn't said anything against it here in Kingston. They have said it against it in like Toronto, Peel, and Ottawa that they should not necessarily do that. But there but if you are still going to do give out candy, if you are a homeowner and you're going to be giving out candy, there are things we still need to do. And I think the basics, some public health officials, like the basics, are kind of like opening, if you're going to do a box of candy or something, just open that box right then and there, sort of thing, and hand out the candy with tongs and make sure that you have face masks and hand sanitizer available and stuff like that. I think that's the basics. Some other people are going to be putting out tables and making sure that there's that social distance, face masks as well, and putting candy on the table for kids then to come by and kind of pick up as well. Or, which is what I'm going to do, is a candy slide. A candy slide. If you search on YouTube, if you search online, you'll see a lot of different ideas for the candy slide. Some people call it a candy shoot. Some people call it a candy slide. But it basically the basic element is to have a tube, some sort of tubing that is like a minimum 2 inches wide or whatever, however big you need for candy to slide down it, and have that 6 feet long on an incline like a slide from your door to down to kind of kid height, so that the kids can put their candy sacks underneath the slide and then accept the candy through, by sliding it through. And I think that is just really exciting. I think kids will really find that exciting. I find that exciting as an adult. I'm like, this is going to be fun. Hey, I may be doing it for years afterwards. But I have the basic stuff ready to make my candy slide, and I'll make sure to post some of those photos of me making that candy slide. A friend of mine brought over some concrete form tubing that is like 8 inches wide. I'm like, he could fit some small children down this thing. But we're gonna set that up. We're gonna have to get it painted. I'm looking forward to it. So that's why I'm doing a matinee drag show on the 31st. So that and that's why I kind of thought too that if you are having small children, you'll want to get out and go trick or treating with them as well afterwards. So that's why it's a matinee. So you can go home, get into your outfits, and go out trick or treating. Go out trick or treating, and come by my house and get some candy. All right. Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, people are chatting here. I know, I know. Oh, I'm looking so forward to Halloween. It's a full moon. Ah! And it's a blue moon. It's a blue moon. I don't know what that means, but it's a blue moon. What does that mean, SweetPeas? What does that mean? PVC all the way. Yeah, hey, that candy slide tubing could be anything. PVC, I find it is fairly inexpensive. This tubing that a friend of mine picked up, because I don't drive or anything, this friend picked it up for me at the hardware store. It was really inexpensive as well. I think it was cheaper than a PVC tube. So, you know, that's gonna be great. We're gonna have to have some fun setting that up and handing out the candy. I don't expect to have as many kids as I normally do. Quite often, it's somewhere between 200 and 300. I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit more, less than that. A little more. I'm thinking 50 kids will show up. But I'm still going to hand out that candy. I'm still going to hand out that candy. All right, sweet peas. Well, I'm going to get going here because it's getting close to the end of the program here. But thank you for listening to CFRC 101.9 FM. You can find out more about Breakfast with Tiffany by checking my socials. You can even go to cfrc.ca as well. My name is Miss Tyffanie Morgan, drag queen extraordinaire here in Kingston. So I want to give you my love. Mwah! Thank you so much for listening, and tune in next week.